Hello and welcome back to Justice for Jean Alesi. Yes, the F1 1995 season is coming to an end. 3 rounds to go. The title run-in starts here. We are level with Michael Schumacher at the top, with Damon Hill just 6 points behind. It's only ever been one of those 3 drivers that have led the championship at any point, and any 3 could still win it. In the Constructors, well, it's only been one of 2 teams that have ever led this season, Williams or Benetton. For large parts, it's been Williams in charge, but Benetton are now 2 points clear and in position to potentially recreate their sole Constructors' Championship win. As for Ferrari, well, we're still in it, just about, but time's running out for us. Here we go, buckle up.
Here we are at the secluded Aida Circuit for the Pacific Grand Prix.
Oh, okay. I think I was expecting warm weather. I mean, what a time to be facing a dry race where the AI are at their quickest on a track that I have actually never completed a lap of on this game. And I know that for a fact because I never got this far in a championship playthrough when I was younger, and I never played on this track. I never chose to play it because it had gone by the time I started watching Formula 1 in 1996. This is the last time it ever appears. So yes, the Pacific Grand Prix. In the 60s, the Pacific Grand Prix was held 4 times. It was a non-championship race held at Laguna Seca. However, when it became an official event, the Pacific Grand Prix, as part of the World Championship, was held in Japan, here at the Ti Circuit, or the Ti Aida Circuit, or it's known today as the Okayama Circuit. Incidentally, this circuit has more names than it actually held Grand Prix. Because even though it was signed on for a 5-year deal, they only got 2 races out of it, 94 and 95. Basically, Japan got a second race because there was a bit of a boom in motorsports. However, they got the race at a time it was dying down. Honda had left the sport, they were massive fans of Ayrton Senna, and unfortunately he was no longer with us. So it just didn't become viable. Also, the circuit, as you can kind of tell from the actual background, is in the middle of nowhere. So access was difficult, the track itself was fine but a bit unremarkable. So yeah, after 2 seasons they called it quits, and this is the last Pacific Grand Prix. Now interestingly as well, this race was also moved. Basically the Kobe earthquake occurred in 1995 and it meant this event, which was supposed to be early in the season, got pushed back, so it's the first part of a Japanese double header. Now, before we get into the really important stuff of this episode, just a couple of bits of housekeeping. You may have noticed I dropped a trailer recently for the finale of the season, Fight for the Title, and I mentioned that I've re-released the first 6 episodes of the series as like re-edited, remastered versions. Basically, when I started this series, I was still working out how to do it properly. And from episode 7 onwards, I feel like I get it. I think I start to edit it sharper. I think there's a nice flow to it. There's obviously the little notes that come on screen from the editor, who is usually mocking me. And it's from that point onwards that I really started to notice people starting to engage with the series and watch it episode after episode. But then I thought, well, if there's new people who come to the series and then they go back to the beginning, and all of a sudden it feels completely different and the quality isn't quite as good, it might actually put people off, carrying on with the series and maybe subscribing to the channel. So I've re-edited those first 6 episodes. I've George Lucased my own series, so we now have one consistent series from start to finish. Although, a little note, if you have watched all the way through the series and are up to date, can I just say an extra special thank you to you, and also I do sincerely apologise. And also the other little thing I wanted to mention is my PC gave up. You may have noticed in the last episode there was a lot of video skips. It just, playback was just skipping quite a lot, and it's because the graphics card on my old PC was basically a potato with a crayon attached to it. As you can imagine, it didn't work great. So thanks to 2 very lovely people who are both coincidentally called Jonty, I've got a much better PC now. Basically thanks to both of them, with some advice, got some parts off them, moved my PC into a new case with a much better graphics card. Hopefully we're going to have a much better viewing experience today. So to both the Jonties, thank you so much for your help and support. It has meant I can carry on with a decent level of quality, and really appreciate it. Thank you guys. Alright then, it's time for that vital Saturday qualifying session. In real life, David Coulthard got pole position. It was his 4th consecutive pole in a row. Now, admittedly, he only converted one of those into a win, but still, on Saturday, he had the form at the minute. 2nd place was Damon Hill, 3rd Michael Schumacher, 4th was Jean Alesi, so that's going to be our target right there. And then Gerhard Berger was behind us in 5th. As we've mentioned many times before, in the dry, the grid gets replicated. So that means Hill 2nd, Schumacher 3rd, confirmed on the grid. We had the pace on Saturday in Europe, but not on Sunday, whereas in Portugal, it was the other way around. If we can mash the two together, that's the goal this weekend. So here we go. For the first time I'm not even sure when the last time I changed my setup, but I've changed it for this track. And oh dear, and that started well. There are obviously tighter sections, but there's also a couple of longer flowing straights as well, and I just feel like we need a bit more of a balance, so I've knocked it down to basically bang in the middle. Final corner. This final corner is really difficult to get right because it's not flat and there's no curb on the inside, and you kind of want to hug it. Right, we're going to cross the line, do a 1 minute 19, 20th on the grid. Oh, the grass, the grass, the grass. It's an improvement by 1 place. And who should we find but Gerhard Berger, who is always our friend on a Saturday. Get out of the... Oh dear. In real life, because obviously they were teammates for so long, Jean Alesi and Gerhard Berger were great friends. In this reality, I don't think so. Just in the way all the time. Like, I think it's pretty clear I'm in a title fight now, guys. Someone tell him to just go away. All he needs to do is get his Ferrari in the points, and that's it. Genuinely awful. Oh, the stress, I can't hate the stress. Somehow that's an improvement. I just can't seem to get it to get, like, I know exactly what I need to do, but I just can't seem to get the car to do it. It's so frustrating. Hit by a Pacific at the Pacific Grand Prix, thanks for that. Oh, tried to hang it round the outside of the Sauber and had not got the move done. Probably not an ideal time, as is always seemingly the way with this game. It's a Williams as well. Frank Williams will be laughing on the other side of his face. Oh, I've had to kind of take evasive action just to get round him. I'm not being funny, but in real life that car would move out of the way. It's incredibly delivered the best lap up to 14th. If that car's not going to move, I'm going to get creative. Simple as that. Better though. Slightly smoother final sector. Not cut this corner. I would quite like this to be an improvement. To remove any controversy from our fastest qualifying lap, we come across the line. It is a 1:17.1. It's up to 11th now. And I'm giving it everything and I just can't seem to get any quicker. Like I said, I've re-edited those first episodes. And I've historically kind of been fearful of the dry races. Yet, race number 1, Brazilian Grand Prix, qualified 14th, got up to 4th. Like, where's that energy been? At 1 minute 14, it's an incredibly short lap. It doesn't actually feel like that short of a lap. I can see another car just slowly rendering in on the horizon of footwork. And we're going to pass it at the worst possible moment. It's like they're not even realistic qualifying paces. They're just there to be obstacles, which is why I kind of don't treat them with as much respect as I would do on race day. It is just get out of the way. Is this going to be an improvement? Can we get in the 116s? We do. We're up to 10th. starting grid for the last ever Pacific Grand Prix. David Coulthard is on pole. Damon Hill is in second. Michael Schumacher is third. Gerhard Berger shuffles up to where Alesi was in real life in fourth. Irvine fifth. Herbert sixth. And we're going to wait now to see if... there we are. We are in 10th. Just ahead of Mark Blundell in the McLaren. And Jan Magnussen, who's making his debut for McLaren at this race. Because Mika Hakkinen with a recovering from an appendectomy, I believe. Anyway, that's not the point. What happened in the real Pacific Grand Prix? Well, Michael Schumacher won the race, and with it, his second world title with 2 races to spare. He was long gone by this point. The deserving 1995 world champion. David Coulthard finished second, Hill third, Berger fourth, and Jean Alesi was fifth. But that's not going to be our target. It's crunch time now. It's really important, and fifth isn't going to be good enough, especially if our rivals are ahead of us. My objective is specific. It is finish ahead of Michael Schumacher. I know Hill is also our rival, but he's 6 points behind us. So even if we lose out a little bit, he's not going to suddenly shoot to being a race win ahead. So I can handle losing out ground to Hill. However, we are level with Schumacher in the standings, so I don't want to get any further behind. Okay, they're just there. They're not that far away when you look at it. And it's still a slow, sluggish start, but it's definitely not as bad as the ones we've got bogged down. Oh, Ligier just goes really slow and then weaves in front of us. And we've dropped 2 places already to 12th. Now let's try and hug the inside, caught the grass a little. But that Ligier is going to lose out. We're going to get up to 11th. Nicely done. Oh, again, the Saubers. And Sauber with a big move. People just pushing ahead of us. Do they not know we are in a title fight? Right, so nothing lost, nothing gained in those first few corners. But it's a long race, so let's not panic just yet. Hugged the inside of that one well, just clipped the apex nicely. Some moves happening. Oh, collision there, and that Jordan just disappears. And here we go into the final 2 corners. Okay, we've gained 1 place on lap 1. We need to keep making swift progress so we don't lose too much time on the cars ahead. Heinz-Harald Frentzen is the one ahead of us. And while these cars are fighting each other, it gives us an opportunity to get at them. Jordan though. Jordan looming. We make a bold move here. Now that's silly. Don't think there's really a position here. Coulthard is leading now, that's okay. If he could stay there, that would be lovely. Another big move from Frentzen. However, slow entry means quicker exit in that final corner, and we are right at the back of Frentzen. And we're going to make the move. Oh, it was risky. That was definitely a lunge. He turned in on us, so but it was a lunge nonetheless. Coulthard from Hill, from Berger, from Schumacher. Okay. As it stands, that means if Coulthard could stay ahead, that means Damon Hill will only draw level with us on points if we don't get in the points. Schumacher being 4th isn't so bad. Could be damage limitation today, but to be honest, there's a couple of cars ahead. There's still time to go. We can get in the points still. Well, Schumacher's dropped behind Herbert now. No team orders at Benetton. That's good news. We've definitely got the pace out of this corner. Oh! It was a lunge again, but again he turned into me. I was alongside, got the move done. Appreciate a couple of the moves I've done today. I've definitely been a little bit British touring cars, but at the same time, even when you have the space, they turn in on you anyway. So it's not like they may take that many evasive manoeuvres. And the thing is, I don't have time to be nicey about it. I've not taken him out, but I've certainly been a little bit aggressive in my overtakes. There's a World Championship on the line, guys. Schumacher, though, dropping back from Herbert. That's quite good news. In the meantime, Hill is all over the back of Mr. David Coulthard. Such a frustrating race, this, though. We're falling back from Blundell. And we're having another race like the fateful Spanish Grand Prix, where we just don't seem to be doing anything. Between this and the European Grand Prix, it's basically been one long come down from the Portuguese Grand Prix, where we had not a great qualifying again, admittedly, but such a good race where we just had the race pace. It was just hooked up perfectly. And it's just not there today, and we are being reeled in by a Jordan. Eddie Irvine, all over the back of us at the minute. Berger I didn't spot that. Berger in the meantime, up to second. He's doing a huge favour for our championship if he can stay there, because that keeps Hill behind us. Right, into the final lap, and again, just like in qualifying, a Pacific hits the Pacific, but Schumacher vitally has gained a position. He's up to fourth again. There's a massive gap between him and Hill, considering that we've not been at the races today. I think we've got away with one massively there. I've used so much of my practice. I messed about with the setups and was that Irvine getting a bit... I mean, fair enough, I can't get too aggravated at Eddie Irvine considering the couple of moves I've done today. Fair. But you're not coming past me, son, I'm blocking you. Not a chance. Not had to do much defensive driving, really. Coulthard wins from Berger, though, from Hill. It's surely going to be Schumacher in fourth as we come out the final corner and Irvine's all over us. Blundell's got up to fifth. Oh, wow. I've got to say, we've royally got away with one there, guys. Royally. So, David Coulthard converts his pole into a win and finishes ahead of Gerhard Berger. Brilliant result, Gerhard. You're still a knob in qualifying, but that's a good result. Damon Hill finishes third, Schumacher fourth, Blundell fifth, and Herbert in sixth. We finish seventh after starting 10th. So we gained places, but we just weren't there. The pace just wasn't there lap by lap, and we were actually defending from Eddie Irvine at the end. Since the race in the Nürburgring, it's all gone a bit Pete Tong. But at least the last two tracks I know quite well. This was the one I was worried about the most. I feel like in terms of damage limitation, not so bad. And let's see what that looks like. Michael Schumacher now takes the outright lead of the championship by 3 points. But still, not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. In the meantime, Damon Hill, he moves even closer. He is just 2 points behind us and 5 points behind Schumacher. In the meantime, in the constructors, Coulthard and Hill, first and third, they've just taken control again. Just as if it was slipping away, they now go 7 points clear at the top. They're leading again. The only points that we have scored in the last two races has been Gerhard Berger's second place today. 19 points behind. Is that us out of the constructors fight? And another round down, and now there are just 2 rounds to go. I was worried about that one. It wasn't the best race. The next race is massive. It is the 1995 Japanese Grand Prix, and it's probably one of the most important races for Jean Alesi personally, and in our season it could prove to be big for us as well. Let's hope we can finally get ourselves back in the points. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your patience. The end is coming. We're not out of it yet. We are down, but not out. See you next time.